Hello everyone! Do you want to know if a servant is good enough to spend your hard-earned quartz on? Well, congratulations, you've made it to the right place! Welcome to the FGO Gacha Guide. Happy summer to everyone! Because today's topic servant is the Bunny Casino Manager, Summer Artoria Pendragon, Ruler. We have to say Ruler because there's already two other Summer Artorias that exist. So we will cover all of the topics that you can see on screen, but first a quick fun fact with Ruler Artoria. Ruler Artoria is dressed as a bunny like this because Lancelot and Gawain told her this is the proper uniform that must be worn when conducting as a manager of a casino. So we have them to thank for this wonderful gift. Be sure to give them all of your thanks. Now on to my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, Summoner Artoria is honestly not very good. Her stats set her up to be very defensive, while her skills set her up to be kind of offensive. She has delayed buffs and one-turn buffs, which both feel bad. And finally, as she is an AoE ruler, it's very hard to utilize her class into anything other than maybe a stall comp. It's not often you're going to be finding a group of moon cancers to deal with. So, starting off with her stats, Summer Artoria is a 5-star ruler class servant, meaning she will have 2 times effectiveness against moon cancers and is weak to Avengers. Meanwhile, she will only take half damage from every other class in the game except Berserkers, which will do a normal 1.5 times, and Shielders, which will be neutral. Her attack at level 90 is 9,593. This is the 3rd lowest 5-star attack stat in the game. Meanwhile, her HP at level 90 is 16,912, which is the 2nd highest HP stat in the game. Her hidden stats... Oh no, my MP generation's not up there. Pretend it is. Her hidden stats have her MP gain on hit as 0.57%, which is relatively average. As for her cards, her quick card does 4 hits, her arts card does 4 hits, her buster does 3, and her extra does 5. These are pretty average on the hit counts. Her star absorption weight is 100, meaning that it's relatively high. It's somewhat easy to get stars onto her cards. And meanwhile, her generation rate is only 10%. This is average, so you can make stars decently with her, but nothing special. Overall, her stats do come out to be a little bit above average there. Now, taking a look at her deck and MP, we can see that her deck is comprised of 1 arts card, 2 quick cards, and 2 buster cards, a non-standard 2-1-2 deck, getting an extra quick card over an arts card. Her noble phantasm, bright Ehangwen, shine brilliantly, radiant hall of mine, is an AoE buster NP with 4 hits. It will ignore defense while damaging all enemies. It will refund 20% of her MP charge after it hits, and it will increase her quick, arts, and buster performance by 20 to 40% based on overcharge, and this will activate before the damage. This is a good MP. This is straight up just a flat-out good NP. The buffs apply before damage, it ignores defense, which is a very helpful ability and helps you deal with those more difficult fights that you might have. And it refunds itself by 20% after hitting. Those are all fantastic effects. Next up, we see her passives. She only has Magic Resistance A, which gives her 20% more debuff resistance, and Territory Creation B, increasing her arts card performance by 8%. Both of these are pretty darn weak on Summer Artoria. I personally hate Magic Resistance, as it basically does nothing. And Territory Creation only affects 1 card for Ruler Artoria, so it is not that great here, when normally it would be wonderful. Moving on to her skills, our first skill is Royal Card. I'm sorry, that's not it. Why is that there? No. Royal Bunny is our first skill. Fixing live mistakes over here, jeez. Look, I'm sorry, look at her. She's too high. She's got me making mistakes. Royal Bunny. This will charge her MP gauge by 20 to 40%. It will give herself evasion for 1 turn. And it puts a delayed 1-turn buff, which will increase her attack after 1 turn for 1 turn by 20 to 30%. This is a good skill that feels a lot less good because it has that really annoying one-turn delay. And, on top of that, the buff only lasts one turn after that delay. It's odd when some other servants, Summer BB, have a better MP charge, higher damage buff, and buffs that last the whole 3 turns, for her to only have that last 1 turn. But, despite that annoying part of her attack buff on this, it is still a 40% self-charge, it is still an evasion for a whole turn, it is still a good skill. Moving on, we've got skill number 2, there's Royal Card. This will randomly deal you a new hand of command cards, while increasing the party's critical damage for 3 turns by 30 to 50%. This will eventually get a strengthening, which will allow you to select one ally and completely remove their cards from the dealing pool when you deal out your new set of cards, while also giving a 20 to 30% NP generation bonus for the party for 1 turn. Its pre-strengthening effect is quite underwhelming. It is just a card shuffle with a decent crit buff. Post-strengthening, it becomes much more potent by being able to remove a support card entirely for 1 turn. Say you have a Merlin with them, and you don't want Merlin's cards to show up. Merlin doesn't deal damage. Use that skill on him. Merlin's cards will not show up for that turn, and you increase the probability of getting your damage dealer's cards by a whole 33%. Now, the problem is that while that is good once it gets strengthening, it's not going to be strengthened for a while here on NA, so it's going to be a while before it gets that effect. And even once it does get strengthening, it's an okay skill, but it's not anything that's going to wow you. It's not as good as Summer BB locking the cards in for 3 turns. It's 1 turn of a good, interesting turn, but it's just 1. Moving on, we have our final skill for Summer Artoria, the Knight of the Lion. This will increase her own attack by 20 to 40% for 3 turns, and increase her critical star absorption by 300 to 600% for 1 turn. This is a fine skill, a nice 3-turn damage buff, and some star absorption for 1 turn of better crit chance. With our skills and MP we've seen, you can tell that Ruler Artoria is mostly set up for dealing damage while having a nice unique skill to shuffle a bad hand out and draw better cards. The unfortunate parts are that Summer Artoria has a low attack stat and is a very poor class to make use of all of these offensive skills. It's not often you're going to find yourself up against a group of Moon Cancers to fully take advantage of the Ruler class. The only other class she'll deal bonus damage to is Berserkers, and they strip away her defense advantage. Most fights she's going to find herself in will be much longer grinds than a normal fight would be if you chose instead to take someone with class advantage. It means that she's able to go into a lot of different fights and make use of it, but her specialized skill of dealing damage, which is what her all of her abilities and skills point towards, isn't going to really find that much effect because of her Ruler class and her very low attack stat. So what materials do we need to level these skills if you are going to go for her? Ruler Artoria is super duper cheap. Probably one of the easiest skill level ups we're going to get all year, if not the easiest. As a ruler, she only requires skill gems up until level 7, and then from then, she only requires 12 shells and 15 reverse dragon skulls as actual materials to level up to 9. So to max her out, it's only going to take 36 shells and 45 reverse dragon scales of your materials. That is super cheap. Luckily, when it comes to stuff like skill gems and everything, those are way more common than materials. So how does she stack up against her competition? As an AoE 5-star ruler, her direct competition is only Amakusa Shiro, but I will also include 4-star Santo Quetzalcoatl as well, because she is a free unit that everyone gained, and does very much compete. So Amakusa Shiro absolutely outclasses Ruler Artoria hands down. Amakusa is able to strip enemy buffs with his MP, deals higher damage in fights, has better stats overall, and has overall better MP gain so he can MP more often. On top of that, he's even able to feel a little more durable because removing enemy buffs removes enemy damage, makes him last longer. So in just about every single metric, he is outperforming Ruler Artoria. Now, if we compare her to the 4-star Santa Quetzalcoatl, despite being a 4-star, she does have higher base damage than Ruler Artoria. She also has better MP gain outside of skills, and sets up critical stars easier. She's less durable than Ruler Artoria. She'll die a little bit easier, but being a guaranteed MP5 means her damage is almost guaranteed to be better than what Ruler Artoria is going to put out. At the end of the day, Ruler Artoria really does feel a bit weak, because if you want damage, there are any number of better servants out there for it. If you want durability mixed with some damage, there's even a free 4-star pick here that outdoes her on most fronts there. But, as always, roll with your heart, and if you do roll for Artoria, the skill priority should look like this. You start with skill 1, as it gives you a really good MP charge and a nice attack up after a delay. Then you go for skill 3, because it gives you some good damage up. And finally, her second skill, since its scaling is tied completely to crits, at least for now, and it's not that impressive. As for craft essences to equip her with, Artoria as an AoE buster servant with some bonus critical damage abilities wants to hit the busters and the criticals, so focusing on critical star production, critical damage, and buster up helps. Aerial Drive is still probably going to be the best event CE that you can take. It's a 10% buster up, a 10% MP damage up, and 50% starting MP. While it doesn't give any crit, there aren't very many free event CEs that do give them, and the only other one that I could mention, Joint Recital, is from an event from almost 4 years ago now, so it's a little old to mention. Next we have a Gacha CE, Victor of the Moon. If you are lucky enough to pull this CE, then you will get a 10 or 15% at max limit broken buster up, a 15 or 25% at max limit break critical damage up to help Ruler Artoria deal damage. Next we have the Black Grail, which is always a good choice for raw increased firepower. 60 or 80% at max limit broken NP damage up at the cost of only 500 health per turn is always worth it. Finally, equipping either her or her allies with Fragments of 2030 in order to help star production is a great idea, because it gives a star regen of 8 or 10 at max limit break stars per turn. And you can even run Ruler Artoria as a semi-damage dealer, semi-support, in a way, by giving that large critical damage bonus to the team and having a more reliable damage dealer work with it. Along with being able to shuffle the deck if the cards throw out all your support cards and you'd rather have some damage dealers. So she has a tiny bit of flexibility there. Let's talk about servants to pair Ruler Artoria with. Oh look, it's Waver. What a surprise. 50% MP charge over his skills, defense up, attack up, crit up. He works with anyone. Waver's always going to be here. Good job, Waver. Everybody clap for Waver. Now, as Artoria Ruler is a buster servant, Merlin is a fantastic choice. He's got 20% MP charge for the party, 20% attack up, 50% buster up, 100% crit damage up, and AoE invincibility, and his amazing NP, which provides healing, MP regeneration, and star regeneration for longer fights, which is what Ruler Artoria is honestly better at than shorter fights. Merlin is definitely one of the best servants that you can bring along with her because she wants to last a long time, so the healing helps, the MP generation and the star regeneration help with letting her deal damage. It's everything that you could want. And finally, a really good suggestion is Mash. That's right, our cute Kohai. Her defensive skills help make Ruler Artoria almost unkillable. Her durability shoots absolutely through the roof with Mash's abilities. Mash brings 20% defense up to the team, a turn of invincibility for an ally, an additional 30 to 50% defense up with each NP for 3 more turns. Mash can make Ruler Artoria take single-digit damage with every hit that she takes. So quick too long didn't watch here. She's honestly not a good roll. Ruler Artoria is a bit weak. Her stats in class say that she should be stalling the game. Her skills say that she should be an offensive damage dealer. Her base design just doesn't work that well, and she's even outclassed by her competition, which follows a similar base design. It's really cool she has a unique card shuffling mechanic, but it's just not enough to overcome the deficits that she has. But if you do need a good reason to roll for her, it's Lancer Artoria in a bunny suit. What more reason could you possibly need? If you enjoyed this video, check out my Twitch channel, leave a follow, a subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Good luck on your rolls, and I hope to see you on the next Gacha Guide. Take care.